eating my veg beds. Delicious paints. Hello creative souls, and welcome to this week's video. Today you find me in the garden, and it's a beautiful Sunday afternoon. It's mighty hot today, so I thought I would sit outside and do some painting. As I shared with you last week, whilst I was on holiday, I was contacted by Paul Rubens. It was very exciting because I've never used a Paul Rubens product ever before, so it was a bit of a surprise and a delight, to say the least. And they offered me a floral watercolour set. This has got 24 colours in here, and they also sent me a little A6 watercolour journal as well. So I thought I would test them out this afternoon, see what we think of the colours. So I'm going to swatch those out, and then I thought I might paint some flowers, as it's a floral watercolour set and there's lots of flowers out in the garden at the moment for some inspiration. So I thought I would do some echinacea flowers and some daisy type flowers, which are nice and easy, to be perfectly honest with you, and they come in all sorts of different colours, so you can paint along with me if you wish. I'm going to show you around the garden a little bit as well today, because there's lots of bees and butterflies and lots of beautiful flowers for inspiration. I hope you enjoy this week's video. As always, if you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the like button and leave me a comment. So I'm pretty rubbish with this selfie stick, but I brought you into the vegetable garden, and this year I haven't really planted many vegetables because something has been eating my veg beds. Don't ask me what, but they need to sadly come out and be redone. I did grow some shallots, and I have got some cut flowers which you'll see in the background. Let me just see if I can turn you around. There we go. So these have got calendula in there, snapdragons. I've got some hollyhocks here, and I can't remember what these little magenta ones are called, but the bees absolutely love them. And then this is my unsuccessful veg bed. These are my shallots drying out in the sun. I did plant garlic as well, but they didn't come to anything, sadly. And then over here I've got more hollyhocks that went rusty, and I've got some of the pink cosmos, and there's a little honeybee on there. I've just taken the plastic off of the journal and the box of paints, and it's a really gorgeous box. Look at the flowers on there. And then inside, the tin comes in this gorgeous pink sort of suede cloth. So the presentation is absolutely beautiful. So it'd make a really nice gift for someone or yourself. And then this is what the tin looks like, a pink tin, so already a winner for me. And then opening this up, you've got your pull down flap there, your mixing palette, and your mixing palette here. And then in here is a leaflet with all the colours on. Wow, there's a lot of colours. I think that's more than 24. That's probably the 48 tin. And I'm sure there's 24, yeah, it is. Ah, and then here, it looks like this is a swatch card. so you can put your colours down here. The only thing I would say is it's in Chinese. However, there is the code number there and PY3, and it gives all that information there, so you can swatch straight onto this card, which I probably will do. So what I'm going to do is take out these half pans, if I can get them out. What can I flick that out with? Let me take this whole insert out and then just manipulate the metal a little bit, and each one is individually wrapped. And I'm just being as gentle as possible, because I think I might want to keep these labels, and I've just had a little thought. There we go. Now once these labels come off, it's got the Chinese on the back, but it hasn't got anything printed on there, so it doesn't have the A233 permanent lemon yellow on here. But I've just noticed on here it does have the name of the paint, so it is in Chinese and English. So I'm just thinking, can I do this? Why not? Ah, there we go. I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to unpeel each one of these, put it next to the correct index there, and then I'm going to swatch them out on some paper and see how vibrant these colours are. Okay, so that's all the labels taken off of the little half pans, and they're all lovely paints, and the stickers stuck on well on here, but didn't quite go to plan because there's not quite enough room for them. But you know, I'm happy with that decision. The only criticism I would have is in this set of 24 paints, there's not a Payne's grey. I feel in this floral set I would need a Payne's grey. I can mix up my own grey, of course, and there is room here to be able to put your own little pans in, or you can swap them out. And I think in the 48 set there probably is a Payne's grey. Look at all those delicious colours. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and swatch these now onto some watercolour paper. Very quickly, here's the watercolour journal. This is cold pressed 300 GSM, which is £140. There's 20 sheets of paper in here at 90 by 128 millimeters, which is A6. Let me just take this off. It's a really nice little journal, hard-backed. Nice thick paper pages, and I think I can see perforation there, so you could tear these out, which is fabulous. There's a little bookmark here, look, as well, and here there's a nice little elasticated cord to hold your pages down, and back, I've just noticed, a bit like in the Swatch journal, is you've got a little pocket here. So that is a gorgeous little journal, and I'm looking forward to painting my flowers in. Okay, so this is my setup out in the garden. You can see that I've got my phone on the stand here that's going to film me doing my swatching. I've got my Betty Hayway's paintbrush. Couldn't tell you what number this is. I think it might be a 3 or a 4. But I'm just going to sit here quietly now and swatch, and you'll be able to see it through this camera here. I will put it on a time lapse because you'll be here forever watching me swatch. That's not much fun for anyone, is it? Okay, so there's my swatches. They're really nice, thick, creamy paints. They're very vibrant and they're just absolutely gorgeous. They look like sweeties on the page. I'm just looking here because these 3 browns here are very close in tonal value. These 2 in particular. So what I would probably do is swap one of those 2 out and put in a Payne's grey. So I'm just gonna see if I can mix my own Payne's grey. So I'm just looking at my card here, and this one is called Burned Brown, and then this one is French Ultramarine, which is here. So I'm just going to mix those 2 together and just see how they mix together and whether I can get that nice deep grey colour. So going in first to the Burned Brown, dropping some water into my palette. Is quite a milky consistency, to quote Anna Mason. And I'm going into the French Ultramarine Blue. That's probably a bit too much blue, but look, already we're getting that lovely grey colour. And it's just playing around with the amount of paint, just getting it bright. This is what I love about watercolours, especially good quality watercolours, because you can get the paints to mix really well and get the colour that you want. There we go, nice neutral grey colour. Let's try a bit of that brown, see if we can go any darker. And what other blues have we got? Let's try this one over here. There we go. So it's really easy to mix up your own neutrals, and they mix really well together. There's my swatches, and I've written on each one the pigment number and the name of the paint. I've just looked up on Amazon, which is where you can get hold of these paints, the colour chart, and it lists all of these paints and their transparency and their weather resistance rating. I'm not sure what that means. I think it probably means the light fastness, and they all look like they are pretty light fast, so you could use these paints professionally. There's different levels of transparency. I did notice that when painting some of these onto the paper, some of them are more opaque, more like gouache, which is watercolour. And I'm just looking at the browns down here. The 3 browns down here, which I said are all very similar tones, all come under BPR7, so they're all the same pigments. which is sort of proves my point that maybe you could take one of these browns out and replace it with a Payne's grey. Okay, so now I've done the swatching and seen what gorgeous colours I've got available to me. I'm just going to see how they blend together, and I'm going to do that on the first page of this little Paul Ruben's journal. And I'm not going to blend loads of colours together. I'm just going to get some yellow. This is the permanent lemon yellow. Quite a watery mix. And these really do feel like lovely professional paints. Let's go in with a Chinese red. Just see if we can get this blended together to make an orange. Just going to add some clean water in here. Some more yellow. Look at that. Don't know if you can hear that aeroplane in the background. There we go. So that is lemon yellow blended with some Chinese red, which gives us that gorgeous, almost like an Indian yellow. Isn't that gorgeous? I think so. My other colour that I like to make up is like a purpley colour. So let's go with, they call it peach light, which to me is like a rose, an opera rose. So a lovely, bright, vibrant, yeah, look at that. Let's see how well this mixes with a blue. Shall we go cobalt blue or French ultramarine? Let's go French ultramarine. There we go. And I'm working quite quickly because because it's hot here. Look at that. Gorgeous. Gorgeous purple. I just love playing with watercolour. It's just so satisfying. There we go. Look at that. Okay, I'm going to do one more because I keep going on and on about Payne's grey. I'm going to mix the sea blue, which is that one, or shall I go indigo? Let's go indigo. This is just a good excuse to play, which is exactly how we learn. Let's go Van Dyke brown, which is this one. Let's meet them in the middle, see what happens. Can we get, oh, I've lost my indigo now. There. Can we get that nice dark grey? Yes, yes we can. Look at that. Let's take a bit out of the middle. Look at that. Payne's grey. Let me just hold it up. So that's indigo and Van Dyke brown. They blend really well together. And we've got a little bit of granulation going on as well, which is gorgeous. Right, now I've done my swatches, I've done my watercolour mixing and blending, I've got my Payne's Grey, so I'm a happy lady. Now I'm going to get on to the exciting part and actually get to paint some flowers. So I've got the Payne's Grey, so I'm one happy lady. I'm having so much fun with these gorgeous watercolours. So yesterday we went to the garden centre and there was lots of echinacea on display, lots of different colours. So that is my inspiration for this afternoon. So I've changed my water, I've got some paint brushes here. I'm just going to sit here in the sunshine which is creeping along the table and do some painting with my Paul Ruben's Floral watercolours. One thing I haven't shown you is that on the back of here is a ring to be able to hold the palette, because this is actually a travel set, and I am impressed with this little set, so I think I'll be taking this out and about with me very soon in my micro camper van, which I mentioned in my last video and I'm due to receive in the next 24 hours, so I'm really excited and I think I might take this with me. So I'm not going to do too much drawing on this one. I'm just literally going to put a rough bit in where the middle of the flower's going to be. What's it called, like the dome? I'll do 3 I think, and then I'll just paint in the petals. I am going to go in first of all with a mix of, I think that's Indian yellow. Ooh. And yellow sienna as the base. So I'm just going to dot that in. Sort of dab it in, because this is just the first base layer. And I'll let that dry. Now whilst that's drying, the echinacea I saw yesterday was sort of a mixture of pink and red with a sort of bit of orange running through it. So I'm going to get those colours onto the palette, and I want it quite watery. I'm going to go in with some peach light first of all, and I'm not going to bother drawing this in. I'm just going to fly by the seat of my pants. Like so. Drop a bit of red in. Let it do its thing. And then just drop in a bit of orange. Just on the ends there. And let the water take the colour down. Fatten that one up a bit. This little journal's got really nice paper in it. There we go. I'm going to speed you up for the rest. Okay, the sun's starting to catch up with me now, so it's creeping along the end of the table. So I've moved right the way down. Okay, to finish this off, I've got my Winsor & Newton 0.1 fine liner, and I thought I would just go around the edges and put in some detail. I'm not going to go over the top, just going to put in some definition. It's not a case of outlining it, it's just a case of getting in a little bit of detail. So thank you for joining me this afternoon in the garden. I absolutely love these paints. 24 fabulous colours, and I think they will definitely make it into my travel art kit. And here's the artwork that I did this afternoon. It's really nice paper and the perfect size journal for an art kit. There we go. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's video, and next week I'm trying out some new, how can I describe them? I should have brought them out here with me, but they're like paints that are on like strips of card, and you flip the colours through and you just use your water brush pen. Can't really explain it, can't remember what they're called, but that's next week's video. Anyway, thank you for joining me this week, and thank you for watching.